You hear a song on Spotify. The artist has a face, a biography, 2 albums, and more than 1 million monthly listeners. But the face was generated. The biography was invented. And the singer may never have taken a breath. Your stream is real. So who gets paid? Because the payment does not disappear. It goes to a real person or company. More importantly, how does a fictional person get a real artist page in the first place? The answer is not one clever AI tool. It is an entire system built from cheap music, believable identities, distributors, algorithms, and the most valuable thing in the process, your attention. In June 2025, a rock band called the Velvet Sundown appeared online. They had 4 members, professional photographs, detailed biographies, and a 70s sound polished enough to feel strangely familiar. Within about a month, the band passed 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. There was no rehearsal room, no tour bus, no drummer asking for a longer solo. The people in the photographs were not real. The project later described itself as synthetic music, guided by human creative direction. Most of the attention focused on one question: could people hear that the music was made with AI? But that misses the more important trick. The project did not only manufacture songs, it manufactured an artist. That difference matters because listeners do not discover anonymous audio files. We discover names, faces, stories, playlists, follower counts, and profiles that make the audio feel like it came from someone. And building that profile is easier than it looks. You cannot simply open Spotify and create an artist page. Music normally reaches the platform through a label or distributor. The distributor sends the recording together with its metadata: the artist's name, song title, artwork, credits, ownership information, and release date. When the first release arrives, Spotify automatically creates the artist profile. The team behind the music can then claim the page and add images, a biography, playlists, and links. The delivery system needs music and organized data. It does not need the person in the profile picture to walk into an office and prove they can sing. So the recipe for a synthetic artist is surprisingly ordinary. Create the audio, choose a name, generate a face, write a story, package everything as a release, send it through a distributor. The result can sit beside human musicians and look completely normal. Generative AI changes this process because every part of the package becomes faster and cheaper. A traditional artist might spend months writing, recording, photographing, and releasing one album. A small team can now experiment with many songs, names, faces, and moods in the same period. One identity for sleep music, another for retro rock, another for sad piano that somehow always finds you at 1:13 in the morning. At the June 2026 peak, Deezer said it was receiving around 90,000 fully AI-generated tracks every day. More than half of all new daily uploads on that platform were AI-generated at peak. That is Deezer's data, not Spotify's. But it shows what happens when the cost of creating one more song approaches almost nothing. And listeners are not always able to spot the difference. In a Deezer survey, 97% of participants could not reliably distinguish fully AI-generated songs from human-made music in a blind test. So the old advice, just listen carefully, is not much of a safety system. But here is the twist. An endless supply of songs does not create an endless supply of listeners. Despite representing more than half of new uploads at Deezer's peak, fully AI-generated music accounted for only around 1 to 3% of listening. Creation became cheap, attention did not. That means the real business is not simply generating music. It is getting a real person to press play through social media, search, playlists, curiosity, or recommendations. One genuine listener is more useful than 1,000 files nobody hears. And that brings us back to the money. Spotify does not send a fixed payment directly to an artist every time a song plays. Revenue from subscriptions and advertising enters royalty pools. Eligible streams determine how that money is divided through a system commonly called streamshare. That could be a record label, a distributor, a company, or an independent creator. The rights holder then pays other participants according to its agreements. So when the public singer is fictional, the money does not go to the generated face. It goes to whoever controls the rights to the recording. The artist can be fake. The bank account cannot. This is not an automatic money machine. On Spotify, a track needs at least 1,000 streams during the previous 12 months, plus a minimum number of unique listeners that Spotify does not publish, before it enters the recorded music royalty calculation. Most synthetic tracks may never reach that line, but low production costs change the bet. Instead of needing one expensive album to succeed, an operator can spread the risk across a much larger catalog. Most releases can fail. One song that finds a real audience may justify the experiment. There is nothing automatically illegal about that. A transparent virtual artist with genuine listeners can be a legitimate creative project. Then, someone removes the final human from the other side of the transaction too. If the artist can be synthetic, why not manufacture the audience? In March 2026, Michael Smith pleaded guilty in the United States to a streaming fraud scheme involving several music platforms. Prosecutors said he created hundreds of thousands of AI-generated songs, then used bot accounts to stream them billions of times. The activity was spread across many tracks to make it harder to detect. The scheme generated more than $8 million in fraudulent royalties. Fake songs, fake listeners, very real money. This does not mean normal AI artists use bots, but it reveals the dangerous version of the model. Once music can be produced at industrial scale, fraudulent streams can be distributed across an enormous catalog. Deezer said that up to 85% of streams received by fully AI-generated tracks in 2025 were fraudulent. The company excludes detected artificial streams from royalty payments. Spotify has been fighting the same broader spam problem. It said it removed more than 75 million spammy tracks during one 12-month period. Not 75 million confirmed AI songs. Spammy tracks. AI did not invent music spam. It made music spam much cheaper to manufacture. So why does Spotify not simply ban all AI music? Because AI music can mean almost anything. A human artist might use AI for production. Another might generate an instrument. Someone might openly perform through a fictional character. And someone else might clone a famous voice without permission. Treating all of those as the same thing would be simple and wrong. Spotify is separating two questions instead. How was the song made? And does the public artist identity represent a real person? AI credits can disclose whether AI was used for vocals, lyrics, instruments, or production. The new AI persona badge addresses the second question. Starting in mid-September 2026, Spotify says some profiles will display an AI persona badge. It means the public identity may be AI-generated and may not represent a real person. The badge can appear after self-disclosure or after Spotify reviews the profile. And by default, Spotify says AI personas will not appear in editorial or algorithmic recommendations, unless, for example, a listener already follows them. That change tells us what Spotify considers scarce. Not music, trust, and attention. The strangest part of this story is not that AI learned to make a convincing song. It is that streaming had already reduced an artist to a collection of things software could reproduce. A sound, a face, a biography, a catalog, a release schedule, and a profile placed beside real people. There may still be a human behind the project, just not the human you are looking at. The artist can be fictional. The operator is real. The listener is real. And if enough genuine people press play, the money can be real too. So if a song genuinely moved you, but you later learned that the singer never existed, would the label change what you heard?